Go, ready? Tim and Victor agreed to play football with their families. Tim said, I brought a football. Victor said, I brought a soccer ball. Victor is called, start that again, ready? Soccer is called football in many countries. They learn to play two kinds of football. All right, so we read a story about two different kinds of football. Now, how do we know that this story that we read, or this text, is realistic fiction? So realistic means that it's what? Realistic fiction. Realistic means that there's real people, but what? Is this a real story or is it made up? What do you think, Lewis?
No. Actually, yes.
It's made up, right?
Yeah.
So we could say it's a made up story with real people. So even though that there's real people in there, it's still a made up story. So let's say a number one, it is a made up story. And I want you to start writing right now when I write it up here, okay?
Is it taco dough? Do you have to buy a taco?
I want you to stop and think about that question, Bertlin. So it's a made-up story with real people. So that's how we get a realistic, because it has real people, but fiction, it's made up. So it's it's a made-up story with real people. Okay, get ready. See, it is, get ready. Yep, get ready. Can you sit up by this for now? Because I'm recording it. Thank you, Libby. Good job. Thank you for working hard, second graders. I clipped everybody up. So it's a made-up story with real people. That's why it's a realistic. It's real. We got real people, but it's fiction. It's made up. It's a made-up story.
This pencil is pretty heavy.
Don't forget your period, why it said. Okay, when you get done, I want you to think, what happens at the beginning of the story? We have to answer that question next. What's happening at the beginning of the story? The beginning of the plot, we call it in reading. What happens at the very beginning? What do you think, Arya?
play football at the end of the
At the end they do. But what happens at the beginning? Maybe look at the very first sentence. What are they doing at the beginning, Tyson?
They're playing soccer.
Well, yeah, they kind of talked about how it's soccer. It's called soccer in different countries. But what do they do at the very, very beginning, Briley? Do you remember? Okay, how about Ellie?
They agreed on something.
Yeah! Say it really loud, Ellie. You got it.
They agreed on something.
They agreed to play football. So at the very beginning, the sentence at the very beginning of the story, it says, Tim and Victor agreed to play football. Now, you could write Tim and Victor. That's kind of a lot of words. Can we use the pronoun they? Should we say they agreed to play football?
Yeah.
That would be a little bit shorter. So on number 2, let's say they agreed.
I'm not done
I know. Mrs. Murphy will leave it up here, okay?
So I couldn't see when you're writing they, but I only put an A, not an E.
That's probably how you sounded out, Brooklyn. So you sounded out right.
I'm starting to catch up. I'm only on bagel.
I moved her because she can't see because of the camera. So I just.
That's what I mean. You can have her spot right there.
Oh.
Now.
What do you think, Libby? Okay. We will, at morning break, I can switch your desk, okay? Would that be easier for you, Libby? Okay. At morning break, I'll switch your desk, okay?
No, we have to undo it.
That's okay.
Yeah, she can't see because of that.
Yeah. I know.
And
I know Aria has a hard time kind of seeing too. Aria, if you ever need to move here
she can move over here.
or there, yeah. We can always switch your desk if you want to switch
There's
out.
only 2 people at their desk.
There'd be only 2 here. Okay, finish writing, and as you finish writing, I want you to think, what happens in the middle of the story? After Tim and Victor agree to play football with their families, what happens next? This is kind of funny. What happens next? Addie, what happens next?
They agreed to play soccer?
Well, it says Tim and Victor agreed to play football with their families. Tim said, I brought a football. Victor said, I brought a soccer ball.
So
What happened?
Tim decided to play football.
They both agreed to play football. But how come Victor brought a soccer ball?
Because he wanted to play soccer.
No. Kinsley?
Because they're actually playing
Well, they're actually playing soccer.
yeah.
Okay, but Tim, how come Tim brought a football? Let me ask that. How come Tim brought a football?
Because in a different state, soccer is football to them.
Exactly.
And then soccer in the United States of America is soccer.
Yes, yes. So, we can say one brings a football and the other brings a soccer ball.
That's going to take a long time.
So it is kind of long sentence, but, or else we could say their names. We could say Tim brings a football and Victor brings a soccer ball. But-
That's
say one brings a soccer ball,
I'm just gonna wait until you're done.
and then we'll just say in football.
I
We'll
can't
make it
really
short.
see when you're like writing.
Yeah, Mrs. Murphy will move. So one brings a soccer ball and one brings a football.
It says one winning soccer.
Thank you, Eli. I forgot my S.
One wins a soccer.
I better put ball too, right, Eli?
Yeah, I can't really see anymore.
Like
Me, I like it. See that well.
That's right, Eli. That would make sense.
You mean that would be
Why are you still a different people than me?
I'm messing up.
That's why you have your eraser. Mrs. Murphy had to erase too. I messed up too.
Yeah, but you
That's why we have erasers.
have a eraser on yours.
Yep, I do too.
We have a most eraser.
What if we didn't have erasers?
Oh, you can never make a mistake then, right?
This was like this small, this small.
What do you have your pencils for?
This was pencil eraser.
What is that gonna, oh,
Which one?
after
Oh, that's a key.
Miss Murphy. That's why I'm putting so small so I can get everything in.
Good idea. Okay, as you're done with this, think what happens at the end? What happens at the end of the story?
What's after this one? I don't know what that is.
Those are C's.
There's one C's? Oh, I just write R's.
You're doing a good job. Keep going.
I messed up.
Something on what?
Yeah, this I have eraser.
Okay, at morning break we'll try like that, right?
I think that's not what it is.
You're going to number
It's not
3.
the, it's right
Of course I did.
I don't think it's that.
Yeah.
Is it?
Because
Yeah,
I
well,
wanted to have a friend because I was too scared.
Okay, we'll figure it out at morning break. Okay. All right, the last one. I know some of you are still writing, but we gotta keep going. And some of you are done. What happens at the end of this story? So one brings a soccer ball and one brings a football. What do they do at the very end? Do they just sit there?
No.
Elias? They learn there's 2 kinds of football. They learn to play 2 kinds of football. That is what they do. They learn to play 2 kinds of football. Okay, so at the end, they learned to play 2 kinds of football, and Mrs. Murphy had to draw an arrow up because I could not scroll down.
Miss Murphy?
Just a second, Lewis, because if I did, it would all disappear. What is what?
I can't really tell what that is.
It's an A.
Oh, what? Can you move? I touched that thing.
Okay, come on.
What a damn touch.